Okay, let's get into it, honey. Let's get into it. Let me get my notes out real quick. Thank you, beloved, and I appreciate you. Just throw it in there, honey. Thank you. Okay, so you all listen. Hold on, let me get to my notes. Ooh, honey, the judge was going off this morning. Somebody supposedly leaked some sealed information that only the defense and the prosecution and the defendant were privy to. And the judge is beyond livid. So let's talk about it. Now, court started early today. They had us come in at 8 o'clock. With that all being said, hold on, honey, let me get myself together. Okay, so court started at 8 o'clock this morning because they had some issues to discuss. Now, the judge is very upset this morning because there's some article that came out that divulged information that was private, okay? And the judge was beyond livid. He said if it happens again, there's going to be civil and criminal consequences. So let's get into it. First of all, he said it was sealed information and it was disclosed. Okay, there was an article that was written that exposed private conversations that went on within the court. So he said this information was in violation of Rule 23.1 A and C. Now, he said it also calls for disciplinary action for Civil Rule 1.5. He said there was a gag order imposed on the government and the defense as well as the defendant. Now, any agent subject to the order, civil or criminal, or they could be face civil or criminal contempt, a contempt order, or even criminal charges. Okay, please pay attention. This is no joke. Now, he said the case is supposed to be based on the facts and evidence alone. Okay, and that the jury has been instructed before the trial even commenced that they're not supposed to be saying certain things. You know, they're supposed to not discuss the case and all of that. And he said that when he finds out, because he's going to conduct a swift investigation and he's going to punish each and every person responsible, okay, and there's no more passing the buck. And he spoke directly to Diddy's lead defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, and the lead prosecutor, Miss Maureen Comey. He said that they're in charge of their people, and both of them, he asked them individually, did you, Miss Comey, know about anyone in your team divulging this information? Did anyone in your team have anything to do with this? And she said not to her knowledge. Then he asked Mr. Agnifilo, have you spoken to your team? Have you confirmed that no one on your team leaked this information? Agnifilo also said, absolutely not. That as far as he knew, it was no one on his team. So he told them both, there's no more passing the buck. He said, as the lead attorneys on both sides, you're responsible for your entire team. Okay, there's no more passing the buck. Passing the buck stops here. Okay, he was dead serious. So he said, counsels on both sides know that this could compromise this entire trial. Because the way he was going off, I was like, wait a minute, is he about to declare a mistrial? Because of this very privileged information that has gotten out, obviously to the press, because there was a whole article about it. I don't know who wrote the article, whether it was a private article or it was a major publication. We don't know because they didn't say. I tried Googling the article, couldn't find it as of yet, but I intend to try to dig up and find it before the day's out. Pay attention. Now, he said any further issues of this sort could result in civil or criminal sanctions, okay? And also, the other thing that he addressed was what the jurors had been told about the fact that juror number 6 was dismissed. And he said basically they were just told that number 6 has been excused and not to discuss it with anybody and not even amongst themselves. Okay, here's James right here. You want to give your thoughts, James, beloved? What do you have to say about all the shenanigans going on?
So what I have to say is that it seems to me that the judge was seeming quite aggressive in reference to what was going on. First and foremost, I would have to say that I would hope that he would feel as aggressive about removing a black man from the jury and keeping that same energy when it comes to America's long history of jury discrimination having to do with America's long history in reference to that. I am not standing up for Sean Combs and some of the crimes that he has committed that we're aware of. But what I would say is that we cannot ignore the injustices having to do with jury discrimination. Now, in reference to what we are now addressing, now that I've said that, I have to speak on the alarming nature to which Judge Aaron Subramanian spoke to the defense and the prosecution. He came in, sat down, and within seconds of sitting down, he immediately began to say to both sides, that's a lie. Something is going on. Using such blunt language and verbiage was super duper surprising. We did not know that he could even really talk that way, and we were unaware of what he was upset about. And that language just was simply surprising. And so now we're beginning to see another more harsh side. Here's what we do know about Judge Subramanian. We know that he clerked for iconic Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And so maybe we thought that those similarities we'd see a different kind of justice on the bench. But I think that what we do need to keep in mind is, regardless of what kind of man Sean Combs is and some of the crimes that he's committed, we do know that we are still functioning and living in a system that was set up for us to fail. And that has to do with his black victims as well as Mr. Combs himself. And as always, please follow me on YouTube at James R. Sanders, James R. Sanders, and on all social media platforms for the same name. Thank you so much for having me, Queen.
Welcome, beloved.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so that was James Sanders. Okay, he had a lot to say and very eloquently said, and no lies detected. Okay, I have to agree with every word of it. So like I said, it was a shock this morning because we had no idea what we were walking into. We thought that we were just going to hear them address how the jury responded, the rest of the jurors, the remaining jurors, how they responded at the news that juror number 6 had in fact been dismissed. But for us to walk in there and to hear this, and the judge was absolutely livid, okay? He wanted answers, and he wanted them now. He was asking Mr. Agnifilo as well as Ms. Comey, like, what is going on here? Now somebody, and he said flat out, somebody's lying. That's what he said. He said somebody's lying because only both of the defense and the prosecutors, as well as the defendant, were the only ones who were privy to the information that was leaked, okay? This wasn't the public or the media. We weren't there, okay? This was just both teams, the defense and the prosecution. They were the only ones there, okay, with the court officers. So with that all being said, honey, he said somebody is lying and he's going to conduct a swift and thorough investigation and get to the bottom of it. And somebody is going to have to answer. And whomever it was that did leak this information, that caused this article to be put out there exposing private information that happened within the court that was supposed to be sealed, they're going to get consequences, okay? Civil and criminal they could be facing. And if this happens again, he said, you know, these things compromise the integrity of the trial. It's very serious, people. So I just want you all to pay attention, honey. Now, I'm about to run back in because he gave us just a few minutes to come out here. Hold on, the liars can go to hell with the offenders, okay? You can put down the umbrella. It's not raining. Oh, it is raining. It is raining, beloved. It's raining enough for me to hold up this umbrella, okay? It is raining. It's not raining hard, but it's raining enough. Okay, I don't want my locks to get frizzy, okay? I don't want them to get frizzier because they're already a little frizzy from getting rained on earlier, okay, at the end of the day. So anyway, with that all being said, listen, like I said, you all stay tuned, honey, because Brendan Paul takes the stand today, and this is going to be juicy. This is going to be a bad day for Diddy, as I said, because Brendan Paul knows where the bones are buried. There's no telling what all he's going to get up there and say. And remember, he's not built for this. Hey, how you doing? I watch your channel. Yes, shout out to you. Yes, and so with that all being said, there's no telling what all he's going to get up there and tell, okay? But we know that he has lots of information. And he's clean cut, you know, went to private school and all that. He's not built for the street life. So we already knew that he was going to start talking. okay, as soon as he got arrested. And so the prosecution reiterated also this morning that they should absolutely rest on tomorrow. They said worst case scenario, it will be Friday. By the way, Friday we only have half a day. We're off Thursday for Juneteenth, but on Friday we'll be here from 9 to 1. So they said worst case scenario, they'll be done Friday, but they likely should be done Wednesday. They said it just depends on how long the cross takes. Now, as for the defense, they still have not given us an accurate depiction of how many people are going to testify, but here's the thing. This trial's about to be over, people, because Mark Agnifilo did say that it should take them about 2 to 5 days to complete their, to call their witnesses. Okay, it should take them about 2 to 5 days. Most likely, Mark Agnifilo said about 3, but no more than 5. So this trial is about to be wrapped up, and then the jury's going to be charged. Okay, so with that all being said, the next thing to worry about is how long they take to deliberate. If the jury comes back real quick, that's guilty. If they take a while to deliberate, that means they're on the fence. They haven't been able to come to a conclusion yet. Okay, there may be some going back and forth, some indecisiveness. But if they come back real quick, which I expect that they likely will, then we'll know that's guilty. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. You all stay tuned because, like I said, I will be back at lunchtime with some more updates. And hopefully by then, Brendan Paul will have already gotten on the stand and started spilling some of the tea. Okay, so I had to run out of here this morning when I was doing my previous live because the line started moving and they had so much drama this morning with people trying to cut, people starting all kind of chaos. When I got here this morning, the police were all up and through the streets. They called the ambulance. They said somebody was swinging a blade, trying to cut people. They took somebody up out of here in the ambulance. I think it was the person who had the blade because I think they had mental health issues. And rather than take them to jail, they called the ambulance to take them to a hospital or whatever. But honey, it was drama out here this morning, okay? Some of us got into arguments. Some of us had back and forths. People started getting loud. And y'all know how I do. I told them, don't start with me, honey, because I'm not here for it, okay? If I have to come up out of this suit jacket, it's not going to be cute, is all I'm saying. All right? So anyway, with that all being said, hopefully it won't get that far. I'm just saying. But some people don't respect the process. You know, when you get here early and you stand in line and you wait and wait, honey, nobody's cutting in front of me. Not today, not tomorrow, okay? So with that all being said, I'm going to let you all go because we got to get back in here and find out exactly what's about to go down. Okay, so I love you all to life. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.